Hi children, in this video we are going to discuss about respiratory system of cockroach. I added some of the pictures which is not present in your SCERT content. I think it will be helpful to get the point easily. Shall we start the respiratory system of cockroach now? Yes, cockroach shows tracheal respiration. Respiratory structures are branched, silvery white air tubes named as trachea. Trachea further get branches. Again it get minute branches. That branches of trachea is called it as tracheole. Right? It is actually a real cockroach respiratory trachea tracheole branches. Observe the picture. Very branched, silvery white air tubes are there. They are named as trachea. Trachea further divided into tracheole. Shall we start? Yes. Trachea has external openings. These are the trachea. Trachea has external openings. That external openings are called it as spiracle or stigmata. See, these are the trachea. Trachea's external opening is called it as spiracle. The spiracle is otherwise named as stigmata. How many spiracles are there? Totally 10 pairs of sphinctered apparatus called spiracles are present. Out of the 10 pairs, 2 pairs are present in the thoracic region. Rest of the 8 pairs are present in the abdominal region. Right? Thoracic spiracles. Thoracic spiracles present in the mesothorax and metathorax. Meso and metathorax as thoracic spiracle 1 and 2. What about the prothorax? Prothorax don't have any spiracles or trachea. So the mesothorax and metathorax has thoracic spiracles which is absent in the prothoracic region. So thoracic spiracles are present in the mesothorax and metathorax respectively 1 and 2. What about the rest of the 8 pairs? Rest of the 8 pairs are abdominal spiracles. The abdominal spiracles are abdominal spiracle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many? 8 pairs. Right? 1 pair in each of the first 8 abdominal segments. Right? Where it is located? It is located in the lateral sclerae. What are lateral sclerae? Lateral sclerae, in the last video itself I told you that pleurite. Right? In cockroach, dorsal scleratus is called it as tergite. Ventral sclerite is called it as, that chitinous plate is a sclerite, right? Sternite. And then lateral sclerite is named as pleurite. So these spiracles are present on the lateral sclerite pleura. Got it? Yes. Each spiracle leads into a atrium. This is a atrium. Each spiracle, this is a spiracle, and then this structure is called it as atrium, and then it forms main tracheal trunk. This is the main tracheal trunk. Each spiracle, this is the cockroach body, imagine this is spiracle. Spiracle leads into spiracle. Spiracle leads into atrium. Atrium leads into a tracheal trunk. This atria has wall. See, this is the wall. This atria has wall and a filtering apparatus. This is a filtering apparatus. Bristly plates. What is the use of these bristly plate? It will check the entry of dust particles and water. When the air enters inside the spiracle, this bristly plates used to check the entry of dust particles and water. The spiracle acts as a valvular apertures. What is valvular apertures? Because it prevents the loss of water and regulate the airflow. That's what we used to consider spiracles or valvular apertures. Once again I repeat, listen carefully. Spiracle leads into atrium, right? Atrium as wall and bristle apparatus. This bristle plates or apparatus will check the entry of dust particles and water. The spiracles act as a valvular apertures because it prevents water loss as well as it regulates the airflow. Right? There are 3 pairs of longitudinal tracheal trunks are there. As I told you before, spiracles, spiraculum, the atrium, main tracheal trunks. There are 3 pairs of longitudinal tracheal trunks, 1 pair of each. Dorsal side, see this is a dorsal side, this is a ventral side. Dorsal side, observe the diagram clearly. Dorsal longitudinal trunk and ventral side. Ventral longitudinal trunk, see the picture, this is a lateral, this is a dorsal and this is a tracheal trunk which is ventral. Ventral longitudinal tracheal trunk. Got it? Yes, dorsal longitudinal tracheal trunk and ventral longitudinal tracheal trunk. Then this dorsal and ventral trunks are connected by transverse tracheae. See the whole picture. Shall I zoom and show you? This is the entire cockroach internal structure. See, it has lateral longitudinal trunk and dorsally it has dorsal longitudinal trunk. Ventrally it has ventral longitudinal trunk. Got it? So, lateral longitudinal trunk, this is, and then dorsal longitudinal trunk, this one, and then this one ventral side as ஒரு cockroach dorsal side la dorsal longitudinal trunk, ventral side la ventral longitudinal trunk. Right? These are the tracheal trunks are present in the cockroach. So there are 3 pairs of longitudinal tracheal trunk, 1 pair of each of dorsal, ventral, lateral tracheal trunk. These trunks are connected by transverse tracheae. Then tracheal intercom. Each trachea divides and redivides in a fine network. This fine network we used to call it as trachea intercom. What is trachea intercom? The finest branches of trachea is called it as tracheole, right? Which are intercellular structure because they are penetrated inside the cellular structure. So it is called it as intracellular structure and directly into the body cell. Tracheole ends directly, see the picture, directly into the body cells. Then these tracheoles are filled with the help of the tracheal fluid. These are the tracheoles, see the picture. These tracheoles are ends with the tracheolar fluid when the cockroach in the resting condition. Okay, at the end of the video lecture, I will explain you rest condition, duration of respiration and in active condition respiration process. Now listen to the lesson. It is actually a trachea. Trachea divides into tracheole. Tracheole is an intracellular in structure because they end directly into the body cell. The tracheolar ends are filled with the help of the fluid in a resting cockroach. The trachea and its branches, except tracheole, are lined by spiral cuticular lining. This spiral cuticular lining is called as ctenidia or otherwise known as intima. The trachea and its branches, except tracheolar region, other tracheal regions are lined by cuticular lining. Spiral cuticular lining is named as ctenidia. The ctenidia is otherwise named as intima. Yes. Mechanism of breathing. Several ptergosternal muscles extend vertically between the tergite and sternite. The dorsal surface is called it as tergite. Then the ventral surface is called it as sternite. In between them, lot of muscles are innervated, that are called it as ptergosternal muscles. Right? Several ptergosternal muscles extend vertically between the tergite and sternite of all abdominal segments. Each and every abdominal segments have ptergosternal muscle. See the picture? These are the ptergosternal muscles. Tergum and sternum are interconnected by a vertical muscle called it as ptergosternal muscle. Contraction and relaxation of ptergosternal muscle at regular interval causes compression and expansion. Compression and expansion. Compression and expansion. Compression is known as contraction. Expansion is known as dilation. So, during the expiration, what will happen? This muscle get contracts. Ptergosternal muscle get contracts. Then the body cavity, it's get less area. Then it expels the air. That process is called it as expiration. What about the inspiration? Inspiration, during the inspiration, ptergosternal muscles get relaxed and then the body get expand. Then the air enter inside the body of the cockroach. That is called it as inspiration. Yes, at rest condition, when the cockroach is at rest, see, imagine this is a cockroach body. During the time of rest, the oxygen requirement is very less. Right? The tracheal ends get filled with the tissue fluid when the cockroach at rest condition. The movement of oxygen is along with the pressure gradient at the tracheal end takes place. So, the oxygen losing takes place in the tracheal end and then it performs the cellular respiration. During the time of rest condition, the oxygen requirement is very less. At the time, what will happen? The tracheal ends get filled with the help of the tissue fluid. The movement of oxygen is along with the pressure gradient as the tracheal ends are losing oxygen from them into the cells. So, oxygen move from the tracheal end to the diffuse into the cellular region. So, cellular respiration takes place. Oxygen requirement increases during the activity. When the cockroach starts moves, what will happen? At the time of activity, the oxygen requirement will be more. At the time, the tracheal fluid is withdrawn out of tracheole. At the time of rest, tracheal end gets filled with the help of the tissue fluid. At the time of activity, the tracheal fluid withdrawn out of the tracheole. So, the two concepts. Concept number 1, during the time of rest condition, the tracheal ends get filled with the help of the fluid. At the time of activity, what will happen? The tracheal fluid is withdrawn out of the tracheole. So, this is actually a filled with the fluid. And then tracheal, second picture B, the tracheal fluid is withdrawn out of tracheole at the time of cockroach in the active condition. This is the active condition. This is actually a cockroach resting condition. Got it? Oxygen requirement increases during activity. Right? When the cockroach is in active condition, it needs more oxygen. So, alternation of expansion and contraction of the abdominal cavity occur involving ptergosternal muscle and abdominal muscle. Ptergosternal muscle, abdominal muscle get contracts and relaxes, which enhances the inspiration and expiration process. High level of carbon dioxide in abdominal cavity make ptergosternal muscle and abdominal muscle to get contract. When the carbon dioxide in high level, what will happen? Ptergosternal muscle and abdominal muscle get contract and pushing out of the carbon dioxide from the tracheal system outside through the spiracles. Got it? When the carbon dioxide is high level inside the body, what will happen? This ptergosternal muscle and abdominal muscle get contracts and it expels the carbon dioxide outside through the spiracles, abdominal spiracles. Then with relaxation, abdominal expands. Relaxation, the abdominal muscle get expands the tracheal trunks, trachea expand and then air rushes into the trachea. The fresh air enter inside the trachea. It results inspiration. Got it? See the picture? The air enter into the spiracle, then atrium, then tracheal trunk, then trachea, then tracheole, tracheolar fluid, the air get diffuses, then tissue fluid, then tissue, then cells. Right? As such as through the diffusion the carbon dioxide expels out of the body cavity. I hope you can understand well. Thank you children.